Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. This is Maureen here for another little Pilates mat workout. I'm at my home today and I wanted to work you through a very simple, fundamental level sequence of movement. We will have a few props available today if you've got some at home. I'm using some very light hand weights. And if you don't have any hand weights, you could take a couple of water bottles out of your freezer and use those. I'm also using a block, but I've also substituted a little white bath towel or hand towel to use in place of the block if you don't have one. Anyway, please remember to modify everything for your own self. If you have any limitations or any injuries or need to be very careful how you move, please remember to modify it. And if an exercise doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel safe, you can always leave that one out and then move on to the next one. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well and let's get started. So we're going to begin lying on our backs. I'm in a supine position and I'm going to bring my arms up to the ceiling to take a deep breath, dropping the shoulders. Remember, you want to take a moment before you start to check all of your alignment. Make sure you feel as if you're nice and heavy on the floor and that your shoulders are not wrapped up around your ears but have dropped away. So we start with a beautiful inhale that's allowing your tummy muscles to just find themselves in sync. And on the exhale, push the arms forward and lift the head up. So you can look here at your thighs and feel your tummy muscles squeeze into the floor. Inhale it, come back. And exhale. Now this time as we inhale back, lift your right leg up. Bring it into tabletop and hold it there. As you exhale again. So we just made it a tiny bit more challenging. Lift the other leg up. Inhale, both legs in tabletop. Exhale, squeeze it down through. Inhale, bring the right leg straight up to the ceiling. Modify this if you need to by keeping the knee bent. And exhale, squeeze, lengthening through that leg. Feel the energy going up out of your feet. Inhale, bring the other leg up too, so now you've got both legs extended. Remember, you can bend those knees if this doesn't feel good. Otherwise, stretch up and exhale, squeezing the heels and legs together to help you lift. Inhale, we come all the way to our starting position. Now here's where it gets a little bit more challenging. Optional, exhale, bring one leg forward, out on a diagonal, keeping that head tucked in. And then bring it back, inhale up and relax. Exhale, other leg, squeeze. Feel the length going out the hip, down the knee, through the foot and out and up. And then for my more advanced people, exhale both legs. Shh. Don't go too low. Inhale, bring it back up. And we're just going to bend those knees and put the feet down one at a time on the floor. Now once you've got the feet on the floor, let the elbows relax and open them out wide. So you want to have a nice open chest. We're going to lift the right leg to tabletop. Now the right leg extends upwards, and as it goes up, your tummy comes down. So you feel that feeling of extension, but it's a double extension. It's extending in two different directions. That's going to help you ground yourself into the floor. Now the other leg is not going to move. It's going to stay very still, and we're going to take our leg and we're going to bring it to that diagonal we had earlier, right here. Okay, so this is our starting position. Make sure your leg is not too low. Now we start by lifting the leg and then opening it out and bringing it back to the start. So we're drawing a big giant zero or a big capital letter D on the ceiling, up and around. Inhale up, exhale around. Trying not to move the hips, trying not to move the other leg. Now if you want to make this a tiny bit more challenging, simply flex the foot. So as it comes up, it works the hamstring a little more. It pulls through that hip flexor a little more. It's a little tighter around the pelvis and around. Exhale, inhale, big circle, exhale, inhale. Let's do one more. either with the pointed foot or the flexed foot. And when you finish there, just pull the knee into tabletop and give it a hug. So I'm just bringing my leg up, bringing my head up, just to feel the release in the hip. And then starting everything else on side two. So we're going to bring the left leg, extend it up, and then start with it low and long, and check where your placement is of the right side of your body, and the shoulders are back. So we take the leg and we lift it up. Doesn't have to go too high, and then we swirl it outward and back to the starting point. Up, swirl it around and out. And don't let this other leg respond. And exhale. Up, circle. Now if you want to, flex the foot. Feel the difference in the hip. Ooh, around. Up, nice tight tummy. Ooh, around. And inhale and exhale, keeping that belly nice and firm, holding your back in place. Let's do one more. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. And then you can pull the knee in. Lift your head up if you want to, just to release your neck. And in. Down we go. Now we're going to repeat that whole series a second time now, and I'm going to give you the option to do it in the position we just did it, or to make it more challenging. So right leg in and up. And then before we begin with the right leg, extend the left leg down. Now my leg is going down and out and long and heavy, and I'm pulling my abdominals in to help me so I don't arch my back in order to extend. If it doesn't feel good, keep this leg in. Now this leg is pointed, and we start in that long, low position. Going up and circle. Up and circle. Up and circle. Up and circle. Do you want to make it harder? Exhale and circle. Up and circle. Up and circle. Last one. Up and circle. Then bring that knee in. Release the hip. Now this one pulls more on your back, so you need to protect your back. You don't do that part. Let's change legs. Left leg in and up. Other leg slides away. Now to slide away, make sure you feel as if your leg is lengthening and pressing heavier, but you're not spraining the rib cage and the back up. You want to still feel heavy up here. So we're going to start with the leg in that low diagonal, and we bring it up, up, and circle. Up, and circle. Feeling the movement inside the joint, as if you were toggling a little spoon around inside a cup. And up and circle. Do you want to change the foot? Up and around. Keeping this other hip nice and still. And around. Up. And one more beautiful breath. And right there. Pull it in. And bring the foot down. Now, those were all up circles. So now we need to do down circles. So we're going to begin, and we're not going to stop this time. We're going to go right leg, left leg with the leg folded, and then right leg, left leg with the leg extended to make it one continuous flow of movement. So here we are, right leg up, bring it to here. Now we're actually going to start by bringing the leg up and then pull everything in, check your placement. So now when we begin by going down and then circle. Down and then circle. Don't go too low. Down. This is where we stopped before. Circle. Down. And circle. Keep it going. Foot flexes. And swirl it round. Down. one. Bend that knee. Switch legs. And we start with the leg up. But when you bring it down, you know where you want it to stop before it circles. Down. Before it circles. Watch this leg doesn't start to move around the side. Keep it nice and still. So that might mean your circle is smaller. It doesn't go out as wide. It doesn't go down as low. It doesn't lift as high. And around. Now flex that foot. Push the heel. Lift. Push the heel. Pull that tummy get nice and tight. Every time you bring the leg to stop. And then swirl. And last one. And then swirl. We bend that leg. We're going back to the right side. And now the option is to carry the other leg along. So we're starting here and we go down before we circle. Down. If this one feels like it's pulling on your back, don't do the straight leg option. Bring that left leg up into the folded position. And circle. And flex foot. And circle. And inhale. And exhale. Switch legs in and up. Take the leg out, pushing it, pressing it, letting it be really heavy, and we start by going down and circle, down and circle, trying to keep that other leg nice and heavy on the floor and feeling the tummy muscles helping you. Flex the foot in and around. Doesn't have to be big. You might do the smallest little circle way up here. Down and circle. Last one. Push it around and then bring the knees in. Now let's have a little rest. Both knees in, both backs, both sides of your back get a little twisty, and then we can put our feet down. Now we're going to transition here into our bridging work. So anytime you're doing bridging, you need to be very mindful of how your low back feels doing it, and you don't have to bridge up high in order for it to be effective. But let's get our feet placed underneath us, hips and shoulders in line, knees and hips in line, and then the feet pushed down nice and firm. Now we're going to start by taking a big breath, bringing the arms all the way back. Feeling that stretch back, press your tailbone into the floor, right down here. So you want to try and see what's the distance between where my tailbone's touching the floor and where my thumbnails are reaching back to. And then we bring it up and down, the shoulders are nice and released. All right, so we start by that abdominal contraction, which brings the back into the floor. And that deep abdominal contraction on the inhale allows the pelvis to curl. Now once the pelvis is curled, it just lifts a little bit. Remember we did very small ones in the previous video I made. And just watch that you're not twisty here, but nice and level. Now we bring it back down and roll it up. So this is our basic up. Feel that spinal decompression as you reach your tailbone into the floor. Up. Feel that nice long neck as you bring your hands down. Inhale, draw the abdominals in, squeeze them down. Use it to create curl. And then exhale. Now if you want to float a little higher, that's fine. It doesn't have to be high, but it shouldn't be twisted. And then we bring it down. Now I'm going to add a little bit to this. So oh, lots of arms, stretchy. And now this time when you curl up, remember it doesn't have to be high. You're just going to pop up onto your toes. Put your heels down. Pop up onto your toes. Put your heels down. So we're using the ankle joints and we're lifting the arches in our feet up and down. Now try and push the energy down rather than falling outwards. Try and go straight down from your shoulders through your knees down into your middle toe. And let's do 3 more. Pop, pop, pop. So by the time you do the final one, and put your heels down, your bottom is still where you lifted it, and then you roll it through. Beautiful, curling back. And then let's do 1 more. Arms reach. Feel that extension going from the tailbone out to the thumbs, relaxing the neck, and then up and over. Feeling the neck grow longer. And we curl. Inhale, really feel the belly muscles squeeze down, and then it lifts off like it levitates. Now if you want to go a little higher in your bridge, you can, but you pop and drop. Up, trying to push equally on both feet, and drop the heels at the same time. And you're keeping the bottom still. And 2, and 1. And then before you put your heels down, just check where your bottom is. When your heels go down, it's nice and high, and then it crumbles into the floor. And as it descends away, you push the energy down into your heels and fully uncurl. And I like to do a little hip release after that. Some people like to do a little tip from side to side. Do whatever feels good to your back. And now we're going to transition to our rolling work. Now, we're going to come up by using our legs as an assist. So grab hold of those legs and lift the nose. And we're just going to give a little tug on the legs and use the legs to pull you up. Now, you might need 1 or 2 more of these. You might need 3 or 4 more of these, but when you finally come on up, there we go. Now, in this next exercise, we're going to be doing rolling into the floor. And this is the exercise where you may need to use that little towel I spoke of, and where you may need to use those little hand weights. So I'm going to demonstrate it with and then without, so that some people can use them and some people can opt not to. All right, so we're coming down our mat towards the front because we want to have lots of mat behind us. And then if you want to use your little white towel, your little whatever color towel you want, you just take it and fold it so it's a little squishy, and it just goes behind your back, right there. Doesn't have to be big, and it shouldn't be super high. It's just a little tiny support for your lumbar. Now, anybody who has any issues with their low back, I recommend that you start this exercise with the legs bent. And you're also going to modify this exercise and not go all the way to the floor if you feel as if that's something that is not really good for your low back. Right, so if you have osteoporosis or any kind of lumbar fusion, then you might want to only do a little partial curl and then come back up into your sitting position again from there. Now, the hand weights are optional. They're actually going to help you here. So we hold the weights out, and I'm going to demonstrate this with my back nice and straight to begin, and my legs bent. So when I tuck my head in, I lift my abdominals and squeeze into a C curve. And then I roll down until I feel my back press into that little towel that I just put underneath me. And then I use my core to bring me up and straighten the back. Now when you straighten your back, straighten your legs out, open them into a little V, and we're going to bring one arm up. The other arm wraps around you, and you try and look behind you. And open. And then we switch. Up goes the arm. The other arm wraps around you. Turn your head, look behind you. Sweep it through. And here it is. So we're going to do that again. Now, if you don't want to start with bent legs, you don't have to start with bent legs. You tuck the head in, lift the tummy up, push the spine in, and just curl back ever so slightly. Doesn't have to go far. Now to come back up, dig the heels into the floor, roll it up and try and grow tall. And once you're up nice and straight, you take the arm high and the other arm comes around. It's like you're wrapping yourself in some hug, and you turn and you try and look over your shoulder and back. So it's just a little bit of rotation in the torso. Up goes the arm, lifting up nice and high. Wrap yourself in some hug and look around, feeling the shoulder follow. and center. Now, if you don't have any limitations, if you don't have anything where you need to modify, you're going to take that curl, that C curl, and you're going to roll it all the way into the floor so that the arms come up to the ceiling. And then you're going to dig the heels into the floor as you lift your head and roll back up again. So we just enlarged it and sit up straight. Now if you don't like having the hand weights, put them down, lift the arm and curl without it. And here. Check that you're nice and straight. Lift up. Imagine you're getting taller. Wrap it around. See if you can look over your shoulder. And here. And here. And if you don't like having that little towel behind your back, just move it out of the way. C curve. Roll down. Letting your back press into the floor. Your neck elongate. And then lift the head. Exhale up and through as you come on up, straighten the spine, lift yourself tall and vertical. The arm goes up, trying to touch, wrap yourself and roll around. And up, wrap yourself and roll around. And here, let's do it one more time. Please remember to do whichever version of the exercise is the most appropriate for you. So you want to lift yourself tall. Pull the tummy in as your head drops. Feel the pelvis curl under you. Roll down using the breath. Melting into the floor. Lift those arms forward over the knees. Lift the head up. Look at your feet. Pull yourself through. But don't come over your legs. You want to come up to your hips and then grow vertically. Straight up off the floor. And then once you're there, the arm lifts and wraps. Exhale, look behind you. And around. Thinking about your posture here. And wrap. And here. And forward. Now we're going to do a little spine stretch here. So open those legs out again. And again, if you need to bend the knees, that's fine. All we're going to do is take the arms forward, let the head fall right between those elbows. And then peel yourself right through. Now I'm doing this with the bent legs here to demonstrate. Now as you come back up, what I want you to imagine is that there's a wall at your back and you're going to roll up that imaginary wall and put your head back in place. I want you to arch the neck. And if you want to do this with the legs straight, remember, drop the head, pull yourself forward, the belly gets lifted up, and you just bring your ears right between your elbows and curl down. There's a lot of abdominals lifting me here. And then push yourself back up that imaginary wall to your vertical. And one more, grow taller first. Let the head, let the spine, let it all reach. Don't overstretch. You don't want this to go into the hamstrings. You want to think about your spine in this one. And then roll it up, pulling, growing, unwinding, and finding your vertical. And then we can just bring the legs in and have a little forward fold to release the hip flexors. If you find your hip flexors really uncomfortable in that one, then make sure you do it with the bent legs. All right, let's flip on over. We're going to put all our stuff out of the way and we're going to come onto our tummies. So for the next exercise, we're going to do our little single leg kick exercise. And I'm going to do it with a modified version first, for those of you who have any knee issues or any low back issues. And then we'll do it the more classical way. So the modified version, hands come down in front of you, head resting on your hands. And you just let your legs lengthen behind you and get a nice heavy, heavy press through that pelvis into the ground. Now we're going to start with doing just a leg fold, a nice gentle curl of one leg up. Feel the hamstring. Try not to lift your bottom here, try and push down through your thigh into the ground. And then when it goes out, it feels like it gets long and comes into the floor. Other leg, curl it in. Feel the curl, squeezing the butt cheeks, squeezing the hamstring, but not taking you up off the floor. You're trying to get really flat through here and up. So those of you with any knee restrictions, any hip restrictions, this will be all you do. You just curl, squeeze that hamstring, and lengthen and lower. Curl and lower. Right? Being very careful to track your foot up over your knee towards your middle of your butt cheek. Now for those of you who have no knee restriction, we can speed this up a little. We can go boing, boing, and down. It's like you're ringing the doorbell twice. Ding dong, and up. Bzz, bzz, and up. Taking your time on the lengthening, so your leg doesn't just flop down and hurt your knee joint. And the breath is a little sharp. Now, add a little foot, point, flex, right there. Point, flex, right there. So you just made it a little bit more complicated. Boom, 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 and down. Now for those of you who have no limitations in your knees or hips or low backs, we can change this exercise and put some back extension into it. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing my elbows underneath my shoulders, which is going to lift my belly button and my rib cage up off the floor. So I really feel that pelvis pushing into the floor like before, but now I'm light underneath. Now extend the head so that you don't feel as if you're dropped down into your shoulders. You don't really want to wrap your ears around your neck. You want to pull them down, shoulders down, and then try and lift the tummy up. So now when you do the little flick, flick, boom, boom, down, boom, boom, down, you're stabilizing the upper body as you use the lower body. Down. Keep stretching out through your spine all the way down to your toes. Heavy pelvis. 3, 3, and 3, 3, and shoulders down, tummies up. Last one, boom, bang, and boom, bang. And now when we finish anything where we're in back extension, we always want to protect our back, come down, and then release our back. So I'm coming into a little child's pose here. Remember to modify how deeply you fold at the hip, how deeply you fold at the knees, if you've got any limitations in your lower body. But you want to feel the stretch go across this low lumbar area, right through the bottom and into those hamstrings. So all the muscles that were getting contracted in the last exercise now get a chance to release. Oh, that feels good. All right, so we're going to finish there for today. Just a few exercises to keep you moving. And hopefully I'll see you guys again really soon on another video. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all taking good care of yourselves and each other. And just remember, be kind to each other, and we will get through these dark times with a smile on our face.